I've seen Raul take on, as a number of people have, but in a special way, the Arizona Show Me Your Papers law. I thought we had the goofiest governor in America, but then Jen Brewer came out and declared victory over that immigration decision of the Supreme Court. I mean, if ignorance is bliss, she must be ecstatic. But the important thing here was not just the legalities of the law. The issue is not some legalistic temper. Rick Perry's, a bunch of these governors, this nutball up in Wisconsin and Michigan and Florida, they're all templars, states' rights. It's all about states' rights. Well, it's not about states' rights. It's about the core morality of right and wrong. And Raul said it well. He said that it cost Arizona, cost us, our reputation as being, now we're outlanders when it comes to the social fabric of this country. And the divisions in my own state where I grew up and was born, I've never seen them that deep among people based on race. That's the legacy. That's the legacy of what you did to Arizona. That goes to the core of it. These are not technical issues. These are not legalistic constitutional issues. These are issues of morality, of who we are as a people and who we're going to be. Are we going to be a nation of, by and for the people? Or are we going to be this little, plutocratic, small, focused on narcissistic interests of a few? Raul, of course, will keep on doing what he does, keep on being Raul. And we need more of that. But that brings us to us, right here in this audience, you and me. What are we going to do? Yeah, I was in Vermont a couple of years ago with our friend Bernie Sanders, running our office up there. And made a political event. A guy came as a Montpelier with the state capitol, and a guy came up wearing a political button. It's the best one I ever saw. It said, wearing a button is not enough. We can't be a nation of button wearers. We're going to be a little stronger than that. The powers that be, the Republican National Committee, the Super PAC, Karl Rove, the Rosemont Copper are flooding into this state with money and lies and fake candidates to eliminate your member of Congress. But let us be clear on this. They want him gone because they want you gone. It's you they're after, not him. He'd probably get a job. You don't have to be in who's who to know what's what, do you? If we do not have a few Rauls between us and greed, then greed wins, and America changes forever. This is not about one congressional seat in southern Arizona. It is about America's future. Who will rule? The corporate powers or the people? So please, write the checks. Give it a little if you can. Give it a lot if you can. Do the walking and the talking. And spread the word. Go out there and talk to people about what this means. Not just to Arizona, but to all of America. What this is about. This is about the future of who we are as a nation, who we're going to be. The Koch brothers are out to steal our democracy and pervert it into their plutocracy and their kleptocracy. But the good news is that the people are on our side, overwhelming. There's overwhelming support for the repeal of Citizens United. There is shows something in roughly 90% of Democrats, roughly 90% of independents, and 68% of Republicans want a constitutional amendment to overturn the Citizens United States. People are ready to do what needs to be done. We just have to go talk to people. And that's the Raul style of campaigning, door to door, go talk to people, people you know in your community, in your churches, in your union halls, in the supermarket line, or at the gas station, wherever you are. Talk to people about what's going on and what this really means. Get beyond the little slogans and the negative bullshit that they're putting out. And get out there and spread that word. Again, a story from Vermont. This was a guy named Fred Tuttle. He ran for U.S. Senate in 2006. He didn't mean to do it. Fred Tuttle was a dairy farmer, happy to be a dairy farmer up in Vermont. And he was going along just fine, not paying that much attention to politics, but he did notice that a guy from Massachusetts, a multimillionaire from Massachusetts, said he was coming into Vermont. He was moving to Vermont to win the election as the U.S. Senator. Literally moving in to become the U.S. Senator. And he was spending whatever it would take to get that done. And he was running a Republican primary over there. And so, in no contest. So Tuttle said, well, hell, I'll run against him. And Fred had zero support. He had zero political knowledge. He had zero connections. He had less than zero money. But Fred developed a campaign theme. He campaigned across the state on his manure spreader. And he would get up on the back of that manure spreader and give a speech about what Vermont might could be and what it ought not to be. And it led to the greatest bumper sticker I've ever seen in politics. It said, "Spread Fred." And it did. And Fred won. He defeated the multimillionaire. So that's the message to you, is that it is up to us. It's not up to Raul. His campaign's doing great stuff, and he did. Other groups are involved, so, but it's not about groups, it's about us. What can we do? I mean, get up in the morning and think, what could I do? One thing this day. Who could I talk to that might advance this cause a little bit? Or what could I do? One thing that might help make sure that we've got Raul. So I can tell you how important that is, not just for you in Arizona, but all over the country, to have this person in there who's willing to stand. This thought. This is from my old aunt Eula, who was a farmer up in northeast Texas, and something big had happened in the 1940s up in Fannin County, Bonham, Texas, where she was in the 1940s, and that was that the New Deal came to Fannin County. We got rural electrification thanks to Franklin Roosevelt and the New Deal. That meant that electric power went into these rural communities. And what that meant to Eula was a very specific thing. She could put an electric pump into a creek and move water into her home for the first time ever. And so one day, I was there, I was a boy, but there was a problem. Because the water coming out of the faucet was all murky. And the men were standing around scratching their butts and looking at the faucet and saying, I don't know, what do you think it is? And my Aunt Eula turned to me and she said, Jim, the water won't ever clear up till we get the hogs out of the creek. Now that's our problem, isn't it? The hogs are in the creek. We're going to have hogs, put the hogs on the creek. Thank you very much.